Hey there! Today we're going to be talking about this pen. This is the A&W Classic Impressions pen. It was sent to me by Bill, my friend Bill. He always sends me cool stuff. And this is one that he wanted to send me. It's not a very expensive pen. It came on a type of blister. I kept part of it, you see, like this. So it's not very expensive, but it's kind of nice. It has some good features going for it. So I want to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then do a writing sample. So let's start with the very top end of the pen. There's not really anything there, just this black thing. And you have the clip. The clip looks pretty decent. I mean, it's gold colored. It's definitely one of those clips that you can bend, so I'm be a little careful with that. Here we got a little gold band on the cap. Then we have the barrel nicely tapered down, and you get that gold end. Mont Blanc. So I can see some influences, but it's a pretty nice pen. You unscrew the cap. It's nice on a pen this price level that you don't actually pull it off. Gives a nice good grip. You don't accidentally pull it off or anything. You can post it. You get a decently sized pen, very light. You can also not post it, and it's also a decent size. And then you get the nib. The nib is nice, especially for this price segment. I think it's not bad at all. Bit of scroll work, and that's pretty much all it says. The section is nice. It flares out a bit, as you can see, tapered and flares out. As you can see, it's a nice and shiny plastic they use. It's actually quite cool. It's fed by a cartridge, but I'm sure you can fit in a standard international converter. And then in the back end of the barrel is another cartridge. This is an empty, just a placeholder to make sure the cartridge doesn't get dislodged. And you will also have a spare, which is nice. So I like that. I like the way it's made. It's definitely a fascinating little pen, and I think it's pretty cool. As I said, very, very light, but pleasant. The nib is okay. I've been playing around with it a bit. It's definitely gives you some feedback, but it's not terrible. It's actually, I was fearing something extremely scratchy, and in all honesty, it's not. So it's a pretty nice deal you get. Things I like about it, things I don't like about it. I like the looks. Put this in your shirt pocket. Nobody's going to complain. It looks pretty high end to me, like a very slim Mont Blanc, for example. Clearly, it lacks the white star, but you know, it's a classic design. Gold and black usually works pretty well, I think. So that's cool. Things I don't like about it, well, it is very light, but most, you know, particularly, it feels cheap. It just feels a bit cheap. It's not terrible, but you know, specific things. If you look at that really broad clip, it's a little too broad for this slim cap, and this ring, it looks a little bit typical too. I don't know. It's a little bit cheapish, but that's okay. They added some nice details. This little gold ring near the blind cap. It's not really a blind cap, obviously. That's quite nice. So I think they did a nice job in putting this together. Definitely not a terrible pen. Let's weigh this. I'm assuming something like 10 grams. Let's measure it. Okay, I get about 141 millimeters capped, not a small pen. And then uncapped, I get 127 millimeters. Section diameter at the top end is about 8, and all the way near the bottom it's about 9.5. And that's all. I'm going to do a writing sample next. Bill, thanks again for sending me this pen. It's very nice. I like it. Let's do the writing sample. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, here we got the A&W pen. I just grabbed the little thing. Classic Impressions, that's the name. A&W. Classic Impressions. Pretty nice nib. A fine. The ink is a black cartridge that came with it. Nice nib. 23 karat what do they call it again? Electroplated gold or something. But it's smooth. It's nice, pleasant to use. Fast writing. Doesn't really skip a whole lot, a little bit here and there on the upstrokes, but in general I think it's pretty cool. Wetness, fairly nice even patch of ink, pretty wet, not a gusher, but pretty wet. You saw there was a bit of a startup issue when I started. This is a nib that I would probably adjust a little bit to make it a bit wetter. But one thing that's pretty cool is that this is no pressure, and now we start to exert pressure. Two things are cool. First of all, look how the ink flow keeps up. There's no railroading, and I'm going fast at a lot of pressure. That is some decent line variation. For such an inexpensive pen with a steel nib, it's not bad at all. Now of course it's run completely dry, but that's okay. And what I was thinking was I might as well take my little Gerber clutch. I'm gonna dirty my fingers, but oh well. YOLO! Let's go for this all the same. I'm gonna put it on there. I have videos on this, so don't just use this. Use one of my better videos, my fountain pen tuning playlist. I'm gonna push it up just a bit. 4, 5. Pushed up the nib a bit. Usually that opens up the tines a bit. And then it was wetter. See that? That's the difference. And that is what we call making a nib wetter in seconds. Boom, shakalaka. I love it. Reverse writing. Bit scratchy, definitely drier. You see it runs dry, so not a pen made for that. Bill, thank you so much for sending me this. I love it. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.